So this is the episode where I cry profusely. Thanks a lot, Brian Fuller. I wasn't ready. So this episode, my God, I'm gonna try not to cry. So this episode opens up with like this beautiful spider, and I like, I have like serious arachnophobia. I don't deal with insects of any kind, but this spider was so beautiful. Just a lot of different colors, just a beautiful spider. And you see it crawling, and as you watch this spider's journey, you realize the spider's on a freaking slave ship, bro. I was just like, wow, I didn't know we were getting into my people's journey like right off the bat, like straight into episode 2, slavery. I was like, oh, I'm not ready. I was like, wait a minute, where the hell are we going to go here? Because, I haven't read the book or books. So I just wasn't expecting that, right? So, this man is in chains. This African man is in chains, and he's speaking in his dialect, and he's praying to a Nasi, and he's just praying to him, and he's saying, please, protect me, save me from these strange men. If you do, he like starts praising him and worshiping and telling a Nasi everything that he will do if he saves and protects him. And while he's speaking, all of a sudden, yo. All of a sudden, you see these bad shoes just like hit the steps, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is this what I've been waiting for? Orlando Jones, Orlando Jones, Bilquis, I still don't know how to say that name, and Pablo Schreiber. Those characters that I saw like in the advertisement, and Kristen Chenoweth, those characters I saw like in the advertisement really excited me. I had no idea what the show was about, but I was just like, wait a minute, this cast looks crazy. And what is this sister with her legs open with an OMG in the middle? What is going on here? I need to see what this is. So I was really excited when I saw Orlando Jones. And can I tell you guys something? He blew me away. I was really excited for 2 people in this show, Orlando Jones and Pablo Schreiber, because this is why. I think that they are great actors, right? I do not feel like they get the respect in the industry that they deserve. And I'm hoping and praying that this show makes them the stars that they have the talent to be. I'm not sure if they want this kind of star power, but I just feel like they're so deserving of it because they're such great actors and they never really get recognized for their work. So I'm hoping this show really puts them on the map because Orlando Jones did that. This whole speech that he was saying, first of all, I always have to watch this show like 3 or 4 times because this is why my reviews are, I can never review this show right after I watch it because there's just so much that I miss. So I have to watch it like several times before I can even get here. And this scene, I had to watch it a few times because I was crying throughout the whole scene. Like the speech that he was given, and he's like talking to them, and he's just like, oh, he's speaking like a Nasi, who is Mr. Nancy. He's speaking to the slaves on the ship, or the African men who are going to be slaves, and he's talking to them. He's just like, oh, y'all don't know y'all black yet. Well, let me tell you what's waiting for you. For 100 years, it's like you're going to get hell. And then another 100 years after that is another hell. And then another 100 years after that is hell. Then you're getting shot in the back by police. Then he starts talking about how they have to pick cotton. It was just, it was so good. It was so sad. And it was just, I just went through a whole range of emotions. Because it's my reality, you know what I mean? And Orlando Jones, it's my reality, it's my ancestors. And I was just thinking about, being an actor, having to say those words. That's why he was so good, because it's like a reality for us, you know what I mean? The whole speech was so good. I really hope this show like sweeps the Emmys, whatever. This show was really top notch. The writing, the direction, the filming. This show has several cast members who have dark and medium dark skin. For them to be able to light them perfectly, I'm telling you guys, if you watch any other show or movie, it is really hard for productions to light or they make it seem difficult for them to light dark-skinned actors properly. And this show does a great job. I love it. I love it. This show is giving me first season of Walking Dead emotionally. I was so engulfed in Walking Dead during season 1, but I had already read the comic, so I was expecting something amazing, and I got it. But this show, I don't know what the reference material is, but I am hooked. It's so good. So after he gives this whole speech, he riles up the men on the slave ship. And he's saying, you got to kill those Dutch people because this is what's going to happen to you if you let them ride this slave ship. So all of a sudden, like, the chains are broken off of him. He gets his hammer and he starts hammer. I'm telling you, I had to watch it again. He gets this hammer, and he starts hitting the chains and breaking free of the other African men. Then they have this huge revolt on the ship. They burn the ship down, and you see like the ship burning and just engulfing in itself and burning. And then you cut to the water, and you see like this bark. And you see this beautiful spider that we saw in the beginning that we now know is a Nazi, aka Mr. Nancy. And you see the spider walk on like this wood plank that was from the ship, walk on that wood plank and enter America. That is how a Nazi, aka Mr. Nancy, came to America on a damn slave ship. What? My mind was wig snatched. I was just like, yo, we are going there with this show, okay? Oh, that scene was so powerful. It was so good. I remember reading an interview with Orlando Jones, and he was talking about how, because this is not in the book. Like, this whole speech that Mr. Nancy gave is not in the book. He met with, like, Brian Fuller and, like, the writers or whatever, and they just really created this, this scene or whatever, this character, Mr. Nancy. Like, they elaborated on him from what Neil gave them from the book. And he speaks about how Mr. Nancy, this whole scene was created from his interpretation of Trump rallies. He was watching and he was just seeing this man speak to these people and really rile them up to the point where he's just like, they voted for him and they're burning themselves. So he was just like, this is what I saw and this is what I was able to create with this character. Is basically he is speaking to these men and he's riling them up. But in reality, they're killing themselves. Like, they're committing suicide. They're going to burn themselves to death because of the words and the power that he was giving from his words that he gave to these men. And that is the way he was able to get to America, because with every god, they need some sort of worship and blood sacrifice. And that was the blood sacrifice that got him to America. Listen, I thank God for this show. Okay, let me thank an American God for this show. It's just, guys, it's so good. It's so good. It was weird to me at first when I first watched it that he was speaking English and he was like dressed like a brother from the 70s, but he was able to speak to these African men and whatever, I don't know where they were from specifically, and they were able to like dialogue. And I'm just like, I know they're not looking at him in a suit and listening to him speak English. So what is going on here? But in my research on the god, Mr. Nancy or Anansi, he's a trickster god. So he was probably showing them different forms. So he was probably looking one way to them. And then we as a viewer watching the show is probably seeing him as we'll see him throughout the show as Mr. Nancy in the nice suit. Bravo, Brian. Bravo. So we get to Shadow Moon. We have no idea who saved Shadow Moon. I'm thinking that'll probably come out later in the show, you know, who saved him. Like, we won't find out. But what we do see is him getting like staples put into his body, and him at like some emergency room, and they're asking him if he was shot at, and he's like, no, because, you know, he's on probation, so he can't be in any activity like that. But in my research, because I'm doing like this whole, why was I so happy about that? I think because I watched the show and I don't know what's going on, I go do research and then I watch the show again, and I'm happy because I'm seeing things now. I think another video that I probably will do next Sunday is just a video of what I found out about the gods so far, to maybe help you guys out who don't know the show, because there are a lot of great people in my comment section who are giving me so much information about the show and about the book and about the gods, and being very respectful and not giving me spoilers, and I appreciate that. I love the little community that's being created here through American Gods, because I'm just learning so much, and there are probably a lot of ideas and, you know, just thoughts going on within the comments section that I'm learning from, other people are learning from. So it's great. I really love what this show is doing here on this channel. Anyway, I'm going to do a video about that probably next week, and just show you what I've learned about the gods thus far, being someone who hasn't read the book. And this is what some things that I have found and picked out, and maybe you guys could go back and maybe watch the episodes. That's what I'll do. Just go back and watch the episode and see what how it looks differently now that I know certain things. Anyway, In my research, I found out that the wounds that Shadow Moon had, that he was getting stapled up or whatever, or healed, those were supposed to mimic the wounds of Jesus Christ. So the wounds that Jesus Christ was afflicted on him by the Romans. By the Romans. I haven't read the New Testament in a while. Forgive me, Lord. That the Romans afflicted upon him when he was being crucified. So that's what those wounds are representing. I'm telling you guys, you have to watch the show several times and do a little nerd research before you can fully get what's going on. Even I have to watch, I myself have to watch it again because I know there's so many other layers that I've missed. Remember last episode or last review when I was just like, I don't know if the lynching was intentional. It was, right? Because when Shadow Moon is speaking to Mr. Wednesday, he's just like, I was lynched. Like, they tried to lynch me. They had me strung up like I was some strange fruit. Ha! Easter egg. Is that what they call it? I think so. Easter egg. Strange Fruit is a poem, and a poem and a song that was sung by Billie Holiday. And it was about black men and women being lynched in the 50s and 60s by, you know, crazy racist mobs. But it was about how our bodies look like strange fruit swinging back and forth in the wind being hung from those trees. So remember, I was just like, is this thing intentional? And then I think there's another layer that I missed. Somebody in the comments section wrote about it. I didn't read it. I'm going back to read it. I'm so sorry. I didn't read it before I did this review, but I got a little notification that somebody said that the lynching was intentional because it was like some God thing. I'll figure it out and I'll come back. I'll come back and I'll let you guys know what that is in another review. But that, but I just wanted to point out that little Easter egg. The lynching was intentional. American Gods, we going there. So then we see this buffalo again. If you go back, there's a scene where Shadow Moon is cleaning up his apartment that he once shared with Laura, and he has like American Midwest on his shirt or something like that, and it's like in red, white, and blue. And there's this buffalo that we saw in the first episode that Shadow Moon saw with like the fire coming out of his eyes. I've done research. I don't know what that buffalo is. I'm going to an advanced screening of episode 3, and all of Ryan Fuller, everybody will be there. So hopefully I can ask the question and just be like, what the hell is this buffalo? So I hope I can get some information for you guys and give it to you next review. But the buffalo is back, and America and all that stuff is back on his chest. He's wearing this t-shirt while he's cleaning up. And while he's cleaning, there's this box that I guess he got from like the coroner's office, and it's what all of Laura's possessions, and he's like cleaning the whole time, and he's trying to avoid opening this box. So finally he opens the box and he sees a cell phone. Girl! He picks up the cell phone, he starts going through her text messages, and out of nowhere, this huge like alabaster penis is on the TV. I was like, wait a minute. I had to get myself together. Let me tell you something. Brian Fuller got some good penises for this show. Every penis is like stellar, okay? I was like, what? Listen, I don't blame Laura for cheating on you with that, okay? You were locked up, Shadow Moon. What else was she supposed to do? And when she probably got them pictures of that alabaster penis, she probably couldn't get her mind together and was just like, my man is about to be out in about 6 years. Let me go on ahead and hop on this alabaster penis and get my life. You can't be mad at a girl when she cheat with that. Listen. So there's this one scene where Mr. Wednesday is like in the diner, and Shadow Moon doesn't hear the conversation, but he sees him talking to this guy, and this guy like walks by him, and there's these flames in his glasses. Research. I found out that guy is Ifrit. I apologize. I'm American. The only excuse I can give. Anyway, he's like this Arabic jinn who like can be controlled by magic, but he's like evil. Like one of the things I did read is that, well, he could be good or bad, but one thing I did read is that he has like these huge wings. Like everything that I read, every encyclopedia had that he had like huge wings. So I'm hoping we see him in that formation. I'm hoping we get to see the gods in the formation that they were originally written in. I don't know if we'll get to see that, but I'm hoping, because the way this dude's wings are described, I'm just like, I would like to see this. I would like to see what he actually looks like. But anyway, Mr. Wednesday is meeting with him, so I think he's one of the old gods that he's going to try to join up with to help them fight the new gods, if that's what's actually happening here. I think that's what's being set up. It's going to be like a war between old and new, and I think he's trying to get the jinn to join in. So Mr. Wednesday sends Shadow Moon to run some errands and to pick up a few things. I didn't know what he was creating or what he was making. I didn't know why. I know it probably has something for him with this whole God's war thing, but I didn't know why. If you know why, and it's not like a huge spoiler, please put it down in the comment section below. But anyway, Shadow Moon goes on the errand run for him, and I think he's at like a Costco. And while he's there shopping, like there's these TV screens. I think he's like in the technology section. And while he's there, like right behind these TV screens, like Lucille Ball is like in the scene. And then all of a sudden she starts talking to Shadow Moon. And while she's having this conversation with him, she's telling him that she was really upset about what happened with him in Technical Boy, and she would have never done that. I didn't know who she was when I was watching the show. Later on, I did find out I found out a lot of information by just watching and reading interviews from Brian Fuller, the cast, you know, watch a lot of those like Comic-Con videos. I find out a lot of information about the show. What I found out was Gillian Anderson plays the god of media. So basically, spoiler alert, if you haven't noticed yet. So basically, spoiler alert, this character, this god will, she takes on the form of powerful people in the media, like Lucille Ball. I think I read in the Brian Fuller interview is that she's going to come back as like Marilyn Monroe, and just different people who really impacted the media. But she was just, out of all the gods that I've seen thus far, in these 2 episodes, she to me just seemed the most sinister. Just the way she was speaking to Shadow Moon about how I would never have done that to you. I'm so sorry. I would have never hurt you like that. I can give you a good life. She was so like, oh, that was, you know, everybody else just really shows their like sinisterness. She was just very sinister, very sly, and I was just like, is the god of media going to be like the worst god, like the one with the most evil? Just because everything she said was just oozing and just a deceiver. She gave me devil. Are we going to see the devil? She gave me devil, and I was just like, wow, this god is terrifying. And she appeared so sweet as Lucille Ball, but just the way she was talking to Shadow Moon. Anyway, she was trying to convince Shadow Moon to work with her. Shadow Moon feels like he's going crazy, and I can't be mad at the brother because I would feel the same way. Like, all of this stuff is happening, and I don't know when Mr. Wednesday is going to reveal anything to him, but I mean, we're only 2 episodes in, but it's 8 episodes. I'm like, when are you going to tell this dude that he's working for a god? Like, when are you going to tell him that he's in the middle of a god war? Wait! Is Shadow Moon a god? Is he Mr. Wednesday's son? There's something, there has to be something godlike about Shadow Moon. Like, he's very special in some way, and I feel like he's probably like somebody's god's son. You know what I mean? Like, it's something up with that boy. Something up with him. They give me their time and attention. Better than lamb's blood. Sinister. Wait. Does Mr. Wednesday stay away from technology because of Technical Boy? Because there's a scene with him and Shadow Moon in the car, and he's like, he throws away Shadow Moon's phone and some map thing that he had, and he's just like, no, I like to keep stuff like this. Is that why he stays away from technology? Because that is maybe a way for Technical Boy to find him? Is that what's going on here? Let me know in the comment section below. When I watch this, I feel like Shadow Moon is me because he's so confused. His mind is like all over the place. I'm telling you, I watched this show and I'm like, what? But I'm also amazed, and I'm like, what is going? Huh? So I feel like the audience is Shadow Moon. Like, those who haven't read the book, we are like, what the hell is going on? But this is amazing. So then we get to meet our girl Bilquis, the sister of the show. We finally get to see her, and she's like having a smorgasbord of just like vaginal dining. You know what I mean? Like, she is just eating everybody, men, women, young and old. She is an equal opportunity sister. Okay, do what you need to do. Anyway, these sacrifices are not fulfilling her. And then we get to like this weird scene where this guy with another great piece. I hope my mom doesn't watch this show. Anyway, he's like in this like state of zen, and like he's really happy in like this weird world or wherever, and you realize that he's in like her vagina. That's why he's so happy. Like, wherever they go, when she eats them, why am I doing it like my vagina can do that? Oh, my vagina can eat people. Oh, the power. Anyway, she wherever they go, they're like in this happy place. So they're not, are they dead? I don't know. Guys. Anyway, the humans that she feasts on is just, I don't think they're that they're doing it for, because she's still sad. I think like after she eats one of them, she cries. She's not fully satisfied. And then we get this scene where she goes to the museum and she sees a statue of her. And then she looks over and she sees within like this glass cage, glass coffin, it's these jewels that I guess she used to wear on her body. And you see her looking at it and it starts to come to formation of a body, and then it dies down and the jewels are still there. So I'm thinking that Bilquis, BB, that's what I'm calling from. Bilquis is a lot for me. BB, I feel like maybe she's upset because she wants to go back to the is that what's going on with the old gods? They want to go back to the way it used to be, and the new gods are changing that. Did I stumble upon something? I think that's maybe what's going on. She feels she wants to go back to, you know, being this being that she used to be. She doesn't want to do the updated things, trying to find worshipers, which is going on all these dating sites or whatever. She wants to be in her jewels and have people at her feet and worship her. And, you know, I think that's what's going on here. Her with the rest of the old guys, they want to go back to the way it used to be. That's what she's missing. She's missing the old ways that she used to be worshipped. Don't we all, girl? Don't we all? I'm not sure really what this scene meant, but what I do know is that she's going to get those garments back. I can tell you that much. BB is going to be wearing them garments again. I don't know how she going to get it, but homegirl going to wear them again. Watch. Then there's also another scene I wanted to talk to you guys about. Back to the car. Back in this car again. Mr. Wednesday is talking to Shadow Moon, and he takes like a dandelion and he blows the dandelion, and the dandelion goes up into the sky, and you see these lightning strikes come down. And he says this whole dandelion scene happens right after Shadow Moon says, well, why are we going to Chicago? And Mr. Wednesday says, I'm going to meet the hammer. And then the dandelion goes up and the lightning comes down, and I'm automatically thinking, I'm like, oh, is it Thor? Are we meeting Thor? Is Thor going to be in this? Don't tell me. Don't tell me. But I felt like it was a Thor reference, and then we meet this other dude, and it's not Thor. I had to watch it 4 times, but I finally caught that Raven reference, and when it was flying over the car with Mr. Wednesday. I'm telling you, it's coming together, guys. I just gotta watch it 20 times to figure out what the hell I'm watching. Cloris Leachman is 91 years old. Did you hear me? Cloris Leachman is 91 years of age, and she's phenomenal. She was so great in this episode, and I checked her IMDb. We're going to get like 7 episodes of her, so she's going to be throughout this show, and I'm so happy because she was so good. She plays one of the Zariah sisters, who are basically, I think she's like the evening star. Guys, I did a lot of research and I got overwhelmed. But she's like an evening star. Basically, her and her sister, they're the Auroras, and they guard this dog. Like, I don't know if it's a hellhound, but it's some like dog that they have to guard, because if they take their eyes off of him and if they don't guard him, he's going to eat the constellation. So basically, they're saving us, you know, from destruction. So she's one of those sisters, but she's in the formation of a very old like Slavic woman, and she's hilarious. Just I don't know, like, where is she? I thought she was American. She could be, but like the way she got that accent was, oh, she was so good. Her accent, her jokes, you know, her one-liners were so funny. Like, she shades her sisters in every sentence that she has. She's talking about her sisters, that they're not as good of a fortune teller as her. It's because she tells people what they want to hear. She has this other sister who doesn't have any lines, but she's a scene stealer as well. They have like this whole scene where they're reading Shadow Moon's fortune, and and it's not good. And one of the sisters who doesn't speak is just like, and she's nervous, and Cloris Leachman just like, she's just like, your mother died of cancer. You won't die of cancer. Shadow was like, oh, it's that bad, huh? But no, those two women were very funny, very good to the show. They're actually relatives of Chernobog, who is the hammer. That's who Mr. Wednesday wanted to meet with, and he's another Slavic god, but he's not Thor. That's what I thought we were going to see. And I was kind of upset because I'm just like, man, this is what I thought I knew where this show was going, and I was dead wrong. But this character was so great. Chernobog is played by Peter Stem. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I really have to figure out how to say these people's names because I want to give them shout outs. Anyway, he's this Swedish actor dude who's, you know, he's been the villain in all of any movie that's been in America for the past 10 years, 10, 15 years. But anyway, he's a great actor. Peter's a great actor. He really, really played this part really well. I don't know what the part was supposed to be, but I was convinced. Like, he has this huge scene with Shadow Moon, and he talks about, first of all, he starts the scene off like, "You're black, huh?" And I'm like, this was a race episode. Really good. You know what? Can I just stop right there? I do want to say, for the material that... for the material in this show and how it was handled, I was really glad that although this material was handled by people who are not black, who are not of color, I really think that they handled it very, very well. It's a touchy, race is touchy, especially in America, and just how they were able to tie this the race topic into the gods, and just the dialogue and the way it was handled. Hats off to everybody involved in the creation of this show, and especially this episode, because I felt like they did it very, very well, and they were able to tell a lot of truths that that I don't think you could tell if you haven't experienced it. So whoever was in that writer's room did a great job. And this scene with Shadow Moon and Chernobog, and how Chernobog is just like, where I'm from, everybody's like me. So we don't have like races, and we don't discriminate because of like skin color. We discriminate because of shades. So because I'm the dark one, I'm perceived to be evil. My brother, he has light eyes and light hair, so he's the good one. He's the light one. And he was just talking about just the different dynamics. And then he was just like, you come to here, and then you have black people. And he's just like, you know, but now that my brother is aging, he's starting to look like me, so we don't even need the discrimination anymore. And then I don't know what's going on. There's something going on with him and the brother and that sleeping sister, because there's another sister there, another Zariah sister, but she sleeps all the time. And I don't know why. I don't know why, but we're going to find out. But the way Cloris Leachman's character was looking at him when he was describing this, she was very, very nervous about his description. So I don't know what's going on, but I just thought that conversation about race and how it's race and just discrimination and bigotry, and how it's different because he comes from a different place, so he experienced it in a different way. And I don't know, that was just a really good scene. I loved the dialogue. I loved how it was handled. Chernobog he's considered the black god, and his brother Beelzebub, I don't know, Beelzebub, yes, Beelzebub is the light god. So that's where that whole wordplay with racism came in, and that's why I thought it was just a really good scene, and that he handled it very well. And Peter Stormare, he reminds me a lot of Philip Seymour Hoffman, because Philip Seymour Hoffman was a superb actor, right? He was a superb character actor. He played, every character that he played was nothing like who he was. It was always like some different, he just was able to play vastly different characters. And that's what I like about Peter, is that he's somebody who you can recognize, but you recognize him later on. You know what I mean? When you see him, you're just like, oh my goodness, that was the guy. And that's how he is, because he's just such a great character actor. Although a lot of the only thing that is consistent is that a lot of his characters have like some type of mean or evil streak, but he's just a very great character actor. Mr. Wednesday is there to convince Chernobog to work with him, or like join this old god, new god war. But for some reason he won't. So I don't know what the history is. I don't know if we're going to get to it. But he says that Mr. Wednesday brought that chaos into his life once before, and he doesn't want it. So I don't know if he's one of the old gods who is just happy with like being left alone. But then he has this whole scene where he's talking about the hammer, and great scene, and blood is like revealed on the hammer, and he's talking about the ways that it used to be. So I was kind of confused by that. I was just like, do you want to be left alone, or do you want to reign? I think a lot of the old gods want to reign like they used to, but does he not want to go to war? It wasn't really made clear to me why he didn't want to work with Mr. Wednesday. Was it that he didn't think that Mr. Wednesday had a good vision, or did he have bad leadership the last time, and that's why? But then he has this scene where he's talking about the good old days, and he's talking about how he used to kill people, but now he just kills cows. Vegans, don't watch this show. Vegans and vegetarians, this episode ain't for you, okay? He doesn't agree to work with Mr. Wednesday. He doesn't want to do it. For some reason, he doesn't trust him, but he makes a wager. He says to Mr. Wednesday, if Shadow Moon, or whoever your friend is, if he can beat me in checkers, I'll go. And Mr. Wednesday jumps up. So I don't know. Is Chernobog like good at like deceiving or checkers? I don't know what it means, but it was a good scene. And Mr. Wednesday's like, no. He's like, no, sit down. Chernobog is like, no, it's okay. It's okay. And Shadow Moon, she turns around to Mr. Windsor. He's like, how bad do you need him? Mr. Windsor's like, you don't have to do this. And he was like, how bad do you need this guy? And then Shadow Moon turns back to Chernobog. He's just like, I'll do it. So they play this game of checkers. And here I am, my feeble little mind, I'm thinking that, you know, Shadow Moon is going to win. He loses the checkers game. And I'm like, well, what's going to happen? Like, he can't die, right? He's a main character. So I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen, but that's where the episode ends. The episode ends with Chernobog taking his hammer. He's just telling Shadow Moon that, oh, hello, I'm sorry, I forgot. If he makes the wager, like if Shadow Moon wins the checkers game, he'll go with Mr. Windsor. If he doesn't win, he's going to basically blow his brains out with his hammer. Shadow Moon loses, he pulls out the hammer. He's just like, it's okay. I'm going to hit you right here. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So, you know, Shadow Moon is a main character, so I don't think he dies, but I don't know where this show was going. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if he's only in for like 2. Oh, I checked his IMDb. He's in for 8 episodes, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to die and come back as a god. I don't know what's going to happen with this show, and that's what I love about it. I have no idea what's going on, but it's a great journey. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Tonight, I don't know if I mentioned it already, but I'm going to early screening of episode 3 with Brian Fuller and the whole cast, and hopefully I can ask a few questions, but I'm really excited about seeing the next episode so I can figure out what happened to Shadow Moon. So I'm actually about to get dressed and get out and head there, and hopefully I can tell you something. I don't want to spoil it because I don't like to spoil the show after Sunday. So I'll try to take notes, but Lord knows I'm going to have to watch this show like several times before I can even do a review because there's so much information and just so much to figure out. But I love it. Like, I enjoy this journey. It's a really good show. It really draws you in. It's very smart. It's written really well. Everything about it is just top-notch and just stellar. To me, so stellar that I'm actually going to get the book. This is the first time a show has ever made me wanted to read a book. I normally like to read the book before I watch something, but this show is doing just the reverse for me. So I'm actually ordering the book. I hopefully should have it by next week. I'm interested to see this source material that this show was created from, because it's such a, you know, like I said before, it's a great show. Anyway, I'll keep you guys updated. I'll do my information that I learned about the gods thus far. I'll hold off my review of episode 3 until next week so we all can watch it together and go through the journey together, and I will see you then. If you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'm going to be doing more stuff like this. I do a lot of reality TV shows, but I really get a kick out of watching movies. So I'm going to do a Guardians of Galaxy review, a Slate review, of course Wonder Woman, and a few other sci-fi and just some fun comic book stuff, because this is something that I've always loved to do, and I'm really glad that there's an audience here for me, because you guys are really liking the American Gods. So I'm just like, oh great, I can talk to people about this stuff because I don't have a community that I can really discuss this with, so I'm glad you guys are here. I will see you next week for episode 3 of American Gods. Bye guys, love ya, see you then.